The Blue Jays are making waves at the winter meetings right now, and what we're hearing is the kind of news that could completely alter the course of this entire offseason. This isn't rumor mill stuff. This isn't speculation from random sources on social media. This is legitimate reporting from one of the most plugged-in insiders in baseball, and it involves a player who could transform Toronto's roster in ways that few others could. The front office is working the phones. Conversations are happening in real time. And the name at the center of it all is one that should have every Blue Jays fan paying very close attention. Jon Heyman just confirmed that the Toronto Blue Jays are officially engaged in active discussions with the Arizona Diamondbacks about a potential trade for Ketel Marte. Now, Heyman made it clear that nothing is imminent, nothing is advanced. But the conversations are real. They're happening. And that matters because it shows Toronto isn't just passively monitoring the situation. They're in the mix. They're having dialogue. And when you're talking about a player of Marte's caliber, just being in the conversation is significant. So let's talk about what Ketel Marte brings to the table because the numbers are absolutely elite. Over the last 3 seasons, he's posted a 16.0 wins above replacement. That's not good. That's exceptional. That puts him among the most valuable position players in all of baseball. His slash line during that stretch is 283, 368, 519. Consistent contact, excellent on-base skills, legitimate power, and the ability to impact games in multiple ways. And he's not just an offensive threat. He's an elite defender at second base. He gives you production on both sides of the ball, which is exactly what championship teams are built on. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Marte is under contract through 2030, 5 more years of team control, and his salary structure is incredibly favorable. He's making $16 million in 2026, $12 million in 2027, and then around $20 million per year after that. For a player who's consistently producing at an elite level, those are bargain numbers. When you compare his production to what he's getting paid, there are maybe a handful of contracts in all of baseball that offer better value. For a team like Toronto that wants to win now but also needs to maintain financial flexibility going forward, Marte is the perfect acquisition. And the timing of this is crucial. The winter meetings are happening right now in Orlando. Every general manager, every executive, every decision maker is in the same building. Phones are ringing constantly. Deals are being discussed in hotel lobbies and conference rooms. This is the week where things happen fast. A conversation on Monday can turn into a finalized trade by Wednesday. And the Blue Jays know this. They're not waiting around. They're actively engaged in discussions right now, positioning themselves to make a move that could define their offseason. But here's where it gets complicated. The organization is still dealing with uncertainty around Bo Bichette. Is he staying? Is he leaving? The Jays don't have complete clarity on that front yet. But here's the thing. There's a strong argument to be made that acquiring Marte makes sense regardless of what happens with Bo. Bichette is eventually going to move off shortstop. Everyone knows that. His defense has been inconsistent, and the expectation is that he'll transition to second base or third base at some point, possibly as soon as next year. Marte gives you elite production at second base right now and for the next 5 seasons. He's not a question mark. He's a proven commodity who delivers year after year. So even if the Jays don't have complete clarity on Bo's future, Marte still makes sense. He provides exactly what Toronto values: consistent high-level production and solid defense. He's the kind of player you can plug into your lineup and forget about because you know exactly what you're getting every single night. That consistency, that reliability is worth its weight in gold, especially when you're trying to compete for a championship. But acquiring Marte isn't going to be easy. Arizona isn't looking to dump salary. They're not in financial trouble. They're trading a superstar, and they want a significant return. And what they want is young pitching. Ricky Tiedemann is seen as untouchable by Toronto. He's off the table. But names like Johnny King, Gage Stanifer, and Jake Bloss could absolutely be part of the conversation. That's the price you pay for a player of Marte's caliber. And Toronto's farm system isn't deep. They don't have an endless supply of elite prospects, but they have enough high-quality pieces to put together a competitive package if Ross Atkins decides this is the move to make. And here's where the decision becomes critical. Do you trade 1 or 2 of your top pitching prospects for a proven superstar who's under contract for 5 more years, for a team that just went to the World Series, for a team that's operating in a win-now window? The answer should be yes every single time. You don't hold on to prospects hoping they develop when you have a chance to acquire elite proven talent. That's not how championship teams operate. They trade the unknown for the known. They trade potential for production, and Marte is all production. But there's another layer to this. The Boston Red Sox are also reportedly in the mix for Marte, Toronto's division rival, the team they play 19 times a year. If Boston lands Marte, not only does Toronto miss out on an elite player, but they also watch a direct competitor get significantly better. That's a nightmare scenario. That's the kind of outcome that shifts the balance of power in the division. Toronto cannot let that happen. They need to be the most aggressive team in the room. They need to put together the best offer Arizona's going to see and get this deal done before Boston or anyone else can. And here's the reality. The winter meetings move fast. All it takes is one team presenting the exact package Arizona is looking for, and suddenly the negotiation is over. Urgency can escalate at any moment. Exploratory conversations can turn into formal negotiations overnight. Toronto needs to strike now while they have the opportunity. They need to be decisive. They need to be aggressive, because if they hesitate, if they try to hold on to their prospects or wait for a better deal, someone else is going to swoop in and take Marte off the board. Think about what the roster looks like if they land Marte. You've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. anchoring the lineup. You've got George Springer providing veteran leadership. You just signed Dylan Cease to anchor the rotation. Add Ketel Marte to that mix, and suddenly you've got one of the most complete rosters in baseball. You've got elite production up and down the lineup. You've got a championship caliber team. That's the goal. That's what Toronto is building toward, but they have to close the deal. They have to be willing to part with the prospects Arizona wants. They have to make the tough decisions that championship organizations make, because if they don't, they're going to look back on this offseason with regret. They're going to wonder what could have been if they had just been a little more aggressive, a little more willing to take the leap. Ketel Marte is the kind of player who changes franchises. He's the kind of player who elevates teams from good to great. And Toronto is already good. They just need that one more piece. Marte could be that piece. The question is whether they're willing to do what it takes to get him. The answer to that question will define this entire offseason